There are a variety of well-known festivals all around the world, such as Christmas, Halloween, Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. But do you guys ever wonder what festivals look like in very remote corners of the world? Hello, everyone. My name is Mac Nobleza, and growing up in Barrow, Alaska, I was able to experience what festivals look like within the Inupiat community. One of them that stood out to me is Nalukataq, a festival that is native to my hometown. So Nalukataq is a festival that gathers the community together to share the bounties of a successful whaling season. To know the full extent of what Nalukataq is, we will go over a brief history of its development and who it's celebrated by, the purpose of having Nalukataq, and how it's celebrated. So, the history of Nalukataq begins with its people. The festival is celebrated by the Inupiat people who encompass the northern territories of Alaska, primarily in the North Slope borough where I grew up. Living in such a harsh and remote corner of the world, they rely on subsistence hunting for food, one being the bowhead whale. The 60-ton creature is able to feed a whole community, therefore has been prized and prioritized by the Inupiat community. But hunting these enormous animals is a very dangerous task. Therefore, whaling crews were established to organize crews and roles to ensure the safety of those who will be going out to the water. With this daunting task of whaling, Nalukataq was developed for two purposes. It served as a celebration for a successful whaling season and as a platform to share the whale for the community. Celebrating the success of a whaling crew is essential to keeping the morale high, and it ensures that their hunting skills are being passed on to future generations. A single whale can feed a whole community. The bowhead whale is butchered to obtain a plethora of different types of meat, such as this, muktuk. So muktuk is the blubber and skin portion of the whale, and it could be eaten raw, frozen, it could be pickled, or boiled, turning into unalik, which is a more tender version of muktuk. There's also whale meat, which can be turned into steak or fermented in its own blood, turning into a dish called mikigak. Nalukataq serves as a location for the community to come receive these shares. So Nalukataq is celebrated through many different forms of activity within the community. There are several days that Nalukataq is celebrated, depending on when the whaling crew is ready to give out their shares. But it usually correlates around the days of the summer solstice. So Nalukataq starts with gathering the whole community together, where everyone brings buckets, bags, Tupperware, or any forms of container that can hold a large amount of food that's being handed out. And that is usually takes up majority of the day. But later in the evening is an anticipated event, which is the blanket toss, the namesake of the festival. This is where a whaling crew member or a dancer is tossed up in the air by the community members on a seal skin trampoline while throwing candies for the kids. This is usually the depiction of what Nalukataq is. And by the end of the night, there are performances by native crews where everyone is encouraged to join. This is usually done at our local elementary school, and this allows the whole community to celebrate their successful whaling season and permanently engrave their season story their history through their native dances that will be telling their story. So, despite how difficult life is up in the frigid north, we were able to learn the warming impacts of Nalukataq. We discussed about the Inupiat people of northern Alaska and why they established Nalukataq, the purpose of having Nalukataq, and how they celebrate it. So the next time you look at a map and wonder who lives up in the northernmost tip of the United States of America, now you know that there are the Inupiat people living in this odd corner of the world celebrating a successful whaling season on their sealskin trampoline.